Erev Tov. Today was Pesach Sheni. One of the few mitzvot in the Torah that, so to speak, the Torah gives us a second chance. If you miss Tkiya Shofar or the Tilas Lulav, so then it's gone. But there's a second chance for the Korban Pesach. Why should that be? What makes it different? So there are a few ideas that the Meforshim say. One idea is, how did Pesach Sheni arise in the Torah? It doesn't arise, so to speak, at the initiative of heaven, as do the other mitzvot. We do not find that the Jewish people asked, we want to take a lulav, or other mitzvot. This mitzvah, it says that there were people that were ritually tamei. Who were those people? So Chazal say that in the desert, they carried with them the bones of Yosef HaTzadik, and according to many midrashim also of all the other shvatim as well. So these were the people that were in charge of that. They were in contact, so to speak, with the coffins, and therefore they became tamei. So they came to Moshe on their initiative, and they said, Loma Nigora, why should we lose out on the mitzvah of the Korban Pesach? It's not fair. So the Meforshim say Moshe could have answered them that this mitzvah asay of carrying the bones of Yosef is for them doche the mitzvah of the Korban Pesach. I mean, if we take this idea of Loma Nigora as a standard, so then everybody should be a Kohen. Loma Nigora, why am I worried? He was born a Kohen. I also want to. So what is this complaint, Loma Nigora? So the Meforshim say, because the people who carried the bones of Yosef they were the ones that were in charge of keeping the Jewish people aware that they would be redeemed and come into Eretz Yisrael. That's what Yosef said to them. At the end of his life, he said, V'alakim pokod yifkod eschem, v'alisem b'satzmosai mizeh itchem, and you bury them in Eretz Yisrael. So they were the solid group that said we're going to Eretz Yisrael. Now, throughout the Midbar, there's always an undercurrent not to go to Eretz Yisrael. Nit no rosh v'no shuva mitzrayim. Tov lanu mimitzrayim imuseinu b'midbar. And then when they're confronted with Eretz Yisrael at the time of the Meraglim, so that generation fails the test. They're not willing to go. We don't have the courage to go. Eretz Yisrael is giants, it's troubles, it's all sorts of things. We don't want to go. So these people who carried the bones, so they said to Moshe, the whole purpose of Yetzias Mitzrayim, of the Korban Pesach, is to bring us to Eretz Yisrael. That's what it says in the Torah. It says, I'll bring it to Eretz Yisrael. And we're the ones that are in the vanguard of that idea. We're the ones that promote that idea. So then how could it be that we shouldn't be part of Pesach? And when the whole purpose of Pesach is what we're doing to bring Yosef to Eretz Yisrael. So they said, Loma Nigora. So they were the ones that initiated the conversation. What would have said, there's a lot of what ifs in the world. There are what ifs in halacha also. What if they never would have said it? What if they would have been satisfied? So according to many of them, unfortunately, we would never have a Pesach Sheni. Because the time passed and it passed and that's it. But because they insisted, they're the ones that created the atmosphere. They're the ones that said Loma Nigora. So therefore, the Rabbanu Shalom agreed with them. Kaviyachol will give them a second chance. They can also bring the Korban Pesach. Now it's interesting. There's another place in the Torah of Loma Nigora as well. And that's by the daughters of Tzlofchad. Tzlofchad had 5 daughters. He had no sons. And they came to Moshe, Atikravna Benot Tzlofchad, and they said, Avinu Meis Bamidbar. Our father died in the desert. And he died because of his sin. But he was not from the Meraglim. He was not from those that didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael. There's Machlokes in the Gemara, who he was, and the Makoshesh, the Magadef, the Machlokes Rabbi Kiva. So they said, Loma Nigora, how can it be that we don't have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael? How can that be? He wasn't against Eretz Yisrael. He wasn't like the rest of that generation. He never turned down the opportunity. So therefore, why should we suffer? Loma Nigora. And heaven, so to speak, responds to them, to Moshe, Kain b'no Tzlofchad dovros. What they say is correct. Noson titin lahem nachala b'tol chachayim. They're entitled to their share in Eretz Yisrael. because they felt, how could it be that they shouldn't have it? So the Meforshim say from here that you see that this power of Laman Digora is an enormous power. So much so that the Torah, all the dinim of Nachala were added to the Torah because of the Bnei Slavcha. They wrote that portion of the Torah. And those that carried the bones of Yosef, they're the ones that wrote Pesach Sheni. Why? Because they can't imagine that they would be without it. That it wouldn't be part of them. So those are rare instances, Loma Nigora. Because a lot of people, even good, observant and wonderful people, they don't feel Loma Nigora. They're happy that they got passed up. It's not Nagaya them. And the Torah therefore emphasizes that if you want to have the mitzvah again, meaning if you want opportunities, you have to want the opportunities. That's the pshat, mitzvah goreres mitzvah. If you do one mitzvah and you want others, then we'll send you others. That's what Chazal meant when they said, "B'derech shodom rotze leilech malichin also." Whatever you want to do, God forbid, aveiros, there are plenty of aveiros. Every day will give you the opportunity. You want to do mitzvahs, do mitzvahs. So that's an idea of Loma Nigora. And that's really at the heart of what Pesach Sheni is about. So it's not just the formality. We don't say tachnun, we eat a pizza matzah. It's a mental state. We don't want that there should be great things and we shouldn't be part of it. We should have the opportunity. I had a good friend of mine that went to the yeshiva together, and he became a very wealthy, originally was a stockbroker, and then he became a financial consultant, and he had a big consulting firm. Wonderful person. And I once was in his community delivering a lecture, and I stayed at his home. And we came home from the lecture, it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We had a cup of tea and we reminisced about the good old days. Just as an aside, since that video of Rabbi Herzog and me, I've had every day visitors come to see me because they saw the video and somehow they had a connection with me 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So that's like also a little Loma Nigora. Anyway, so he was about, it was a Midwestern city that he lived in. And so about 11 o'clock, he gets on the phone and he starts calling his clients. So already on the East Coast, it's midnight, past midnight. So I said to him, don't your clients resent that you call them after midnight to wake them up? Doesn't wait till the morning? He said, no. He says, that's why I'm successful. They know I call up, I wake them up, And I tell them there's a good thing going to happen. That when the market opens in the morning, right away, buy, sell, do. They love it. They think it's great. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go home to my shul in Muncie. I'll call people up 11, 12 at night. I got a hachnos scholar for you. I have this, this mitzvah available. But I knew if I did that, I'd get fired. Because there we don't say Loma Nigora. And people don't want it to happen. So the Rebbeinu Shalom presents us with opportunities. And the question is, do we want the opportunity? Or do we even see it as an opportunity? So we see it by this din of Pesach Sheni, and we see it by Eretz Yisrael. These are opportunities, the Meforshim say that you have a second chance. Because he said Loma Nigora. And I think that's true in the general Jewish world as well. Eretz Yisrael is a second chance opportunity. I didn't do it 20 years ago, I'll do it now. I didn't understand it, now I understand it. I didn't. Because it's based on the fact that it's the realization that it's an opportunity to be grasped, something to be taken advantage of. So that you have to be able to see in that perspective. And because of that, that's why Pesach Sheni is an important day for us. Because even though there's no formal observance of anything, the great Chassidic Rebbeim said it about Eretz Yisrael, people are tamei, and they're a long way from where they should be. But Pesach Sheni is the opportunity that they can come. And that refers to many, many things in our life, and especially at Eretz Yisrael. So that's why Pesach Sheni has such an importance for us, and it was observed today, and that it has this meaning that has preserved the Jewish people throughout all of the centuries. They always knew there was a Pesach Sheni. They'd be able to somehow make it up. Never too late. And that is really one of the great inspirational messages that Klal Yisrael has. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer Rotzak HaRivorchu V'Zakot Tzis Yisrael V'Zul Zachir B'Lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Adonai Chavei Tzemach